If you're looking for a concealed option for a doorstop in your home to stop the doors from hitting your walls, the Fantom doorstop is one that you may want to consider. But the installation instructions aren't super clear, so in this video I will walk you through the 3 major steps that you need to follow to get this job done right. Let's do this. Step number 1 is to mark your floor so you can drill the hole and install the doorstop into the floor. To accomplish this step, I'm going to use some tape rather than drawing directly on my floor. There's 2 key things that you need to consider with this point. First, you have to position your door in the right spot, because as soon as you drill the hole in the floor, you're committed. And I am honestly a little bit nervous to drill into my floor for this, but we're gonna go for it. The second piece that you need to consider is your doorknob. As you position the door into the right place, your door is going to flex with any doorstop. Give yourself a good distance, at least a solid inch between the doorknob and the wall, so that when the door flexes when it hits the doorstop, the doorknob doesn't hit your wall. When you make your mark on your tape, you want to find the center of the door and just really get that marked on the tape first, because you need this to hit the middle of your door. Then you want to come out a good 2 to 3 inches. You can go further if you like. You need to leave room for the strike plate to install on the bottom of the door. You don't want that hanging off the edge of the door, so give yourself enough room to move it back into the door. Then just put a little crosshair in the middle of the tape that is following the center mark of the door and where you want to install the center of the strike plate. And if that doesn't make complete sense, it will when we get to the strike plate install. With the floor marked, it's time to drill. If you are going to be drilling in the concrete, get a masonry bit. Otherwise, if you're drilling through LVT like I am today, or directly into wood flooring or subflooring, a regular wood bit will work. They call for a 14mm bit in the directions. Now, everything that I have here is imperial, so I'm going with a 1/2 inch bit, but I've taped my bit just to make sure I go to the proper depth, just like I'm gonna do for the door itself. And it is 1 inch and 11/16 with like an extra hair on the end. So I marked it right at 1 11/16. This room used to be the garage in this house. So when this floor was put in, they put a wood subfloor and structure underneath to level it out, because the garage floor slopes down. But I'm up at the head of that floor, and I actually just hit the concrete underneath the subfloor. Now I need to grab a masonry bit. I purchased this Fantom doorstop from Fantom. It's based out of Australia. So when you look at the instructions, it's all based on metric and not imperial measurements. Like a bonehead, I wasn't thinking when I started. I started with a 1/2 inch bit, which is not equivalent to what's called for, which is a 14mm bit. I ended up ordering the 14mm so that I can finish this floor piece. The directions also instruct you to take a little bit of silicone and put it along the stem at the bottom and around the inside lip of the insert that goes into the floor. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Now you take the tapered end and you put that down inside of the insert. With the floor set, now we can move on to step 2. First, we have to mark the bottom of the door so that we know where we need to drill into the door. To accomplish this, just run the door past the top of the floor insert that you just installed and make a little mark on the outside. Now you can take that mark and trace it across the underside of the door when you take it off the hinges, which is the next piece, taking your door off of the hinges. Now we can take the mark that we made on the front of the door and slide that across the bottom of the door. Transfer it there. Now we're gonna drill into the bottom of the door right where we put that mark. The directions call for a 24mm spade bit. The closest I have is 15/16. It's a 0.0025 difference of an inch. So my hope is that this is gonna work, even though it's just a hair off. It's the magnet that makes the pin come out of the floor, and that's what we're gonna stick inside our door. To finish up step 2, we take the bottom door plate that comes in the package, and we're gonna put that right over top of the magnet so it's concealed, but there's a key with this. If you look at the bottom plate, you'll notice that it is slanted slightly. It's tough to see on the camera, but there's a deeper end underneath here and a shallower end. The deep end is what's going to catch the catch when it goes through. The shallow end is what's going to release the door when you need to close it. So you need to place the shallow end towards your wall, the area where you're gonna have to pull away from, so that it can be released appropriately. And now we can move on to step 3, which is to take our door, put it back on, and give it a test. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this door stop. If you push gently, it actually catches the door so it doesn't fly off of the wall. Now, if you push hard, it will come back off of the wall just like any other door stop. But the nice part is when it catches, in order to release the door, you just have to pull gently. It takes really no effort. Keep in mind that right now, the only place that you can purchase this door stop is from Fantom themselves, so you have to order from Australia. Also, don't make my mistake, get the right size bit, that 14mm bit, in order to fit that piece into the floor. Otherwise, if you go with a 1/2 inch, it's not gonna go. But maybe a fancy door stop like this isn't what you're looking for, and you want something a little bit more simplistic with less installation. And for more information on some of those options, click or tap on this video. Until the next time, keep doing it yourself.